Hi students, how do you do? It is my pleasure to interact with you. So far we have had a wonderful fair lesson, Kathmandu. We learned so many things, grammar, vocabulary and facts of Kathmandu. Now we shall move to an interesting poem, A Slumber Did My Spirit Seal by a famous English poet, William Wordsworth. Are you ready? Now we shall move to overview of the poem, A Slumber Did My Spirit Seal. Overview of the poem. For the better understanding of the poem, it can be divided into three parts. They are about the poet, comprehension of the poem, and evaluation. Now, let us see the aims and objectives of the poem. By the end of the poem, the students are able to recite the poem with appropriate expression and intonation to convey the feelings of poet of loss and acceptance. Justify the poet's use of metaphors to describe the death and its impact on the living. Judge the effectiveness of the poet's use of repetition and imagery to create sense of inevitability and finality. They summarize the key themes and emotions and expressed in the poem, and they explain how they are relevant to their lives. They use the poem as inspiration to write a reflective piece on the meaning of life and death. They write comparative analysis of the poem with another poem that deals with the death and loss. Now, let us turn towards the great poet Wordsworth and this poem. William Wordsworth was a pioneer of Romanticism in English poetry, and he considered one of the greatest lyricist poets in the history of English literature. In 1843, he became Britain's poet laureate. A Slumber Did My Spirit Seal is a poem written by William Wordsworth in 1798 and published in 1800 in the edition of Lyrical Ballads. It is usually included as one of his Lucy poems, although it is the only poem in the series not to mention her name. The poem is mere 8 lines long, that is only 2 stanzas. The poem A Slumber Did My Spirit Seal is written by the great poet Wordsworth. It is a lyrical ballad. Ballads are written to sing in a musical way. Now let us see and enjoy the lyrical poem of A Slumber Did My Spirit Seal. A slumber did my spirit seal. A slumber did my spirit seal. I had no human fears. She seemed a thing that could not feel the touch of earthly ears, the touch of earthly ears. No motion has she now, no force. She neither hears nor sees, rolled down in the external course, with rocks and stones and tears. I will ask you a small question. Are you ready? What was the tone of the poem? Quiet and eternal. Dear students, let us know the meaning to unfamiliar words. Here, slumber. Slumber means deep sleep. The bear fell into slumber. The word slumber can be used as a noun form and a verb form. For a verb form, slumber, slumbered, slumbered. Present tense, past participle. Here is meaning to another unfamiliar word, diurnal, during the daytime or active during the daytime. It is an adjective form. The kangaroos are diurnal animals. Gist of the poem. In the first stanza, the poet expresses his grief over death of his beloved one. He feels that her soul has gone into deep sleep. He has no human fears like death or loss. In the second stanza, he says that there was no motion in his beloved's body. He feels that she became a part of the earth. Let us go for a small comprehension. Here, every question has a two options. You have to choose one. The first question: what is the reason for grief of the poet? A. Death of his beloved. B. Loss of his mother. Second question: what did he realize after his beloved death? A. He has to accept it and develop a different attitude. B. He decided to spend his time in a slumber. Let us see the transformation of mind of the poet. The poet explained the philosophy of death through this poem. Everyone has to accept it. After death, everyone gets assimilated into earth. Lucy got it. Now she rotates along with the earth. Initially, the poet had taken life for granted and had never thought Lucy would go away from him. Initially, he was unable to bear the loss of her beloved. Later, he prepared to see her in the earth. The only difference is that she will not talk and respond. He imagined her in a new form. This way of thinking can certainly provide a relief to an individual who is in the same situation like the poet. Let us go for a small comprehension. Here is a small test for you. There are two questions here. You have to choose the right answer. First question: the poet prepared to see his beloved in A. Spirit, B. Imagination, C. Earth. Question number 2. Initially, how did the poet treated the life? A. Joyful, B. Taken for granted, C. Sadness. The literary devices make the poem attractive and lucid. The following literary devices are used in the present poem. They are rhyming scheme AB AB, CD CD, alliteration. The repetition of a consonant sound at the start of a two or more consecutive words is called alliteration. Here, spirit sealed, rolled round. In this way, so many alliterations are used here. Enjambment: when a sentence continues into two or more lines ending without any punctuation marks is called enjambment. In the present poem, we can see usage of enjambments. Let us see the other literary devices. Here, two figures of speech are used by the poet. They are metaphor and personification. Metaphor: in the poem, a slumber did my spirit seal. The poet's peaceful state is compared to a state as if he is in a deep sleep. Personification: in the line, the touch of earthly ears, here the earthly ears have been attributed with human qualities. Let us go for a small test. Here is a small test for you. Choose the right answer. Question: what figures of speech is used in the sentence, the touch of earthly ears? A. Simile. B. Metaphor. C. Personification. The right answer is C. Personification. Now let us move to know the irony of the poem. Irony of the poem. The poet description of his beloved as having no motion or force. At the same time, he says she is revolving with the earth around the sun. Actually, it implies she is dead and the poet cannot be one with her. This is also because the poet, unlike his beloved, was always alienated from the nature. Now, shall we move to know what is meaning of the irony? Shall we know the meaning of irony in the literature? Literally, irony means speaker or the poet tells something that differs from what they mean. That means to convey a meaning that is opposite of its literal meaning. Now, shall we move to symbols used in this poem? Symbols used in the poem. Literally, a symbol is an image which suggests or represents something other than itself. Two symbols are used in this poem. They are sleep. The poet's slumber is a symbol of the willful ignorance in which people often live their lives. The second symbol is the rocks and stones and trees is a symbol of stillness of death. Now let us move for a small test. Here is a small test for you. You have to choose the right answer from the given options. The question. The rock is an image of A. Death. B. Sleep. Right answer is death. Let us go for a home task. Let us see the summary of the poem. The student recite the poem. They know the feeling of the poet on death of his beloved one. They compare the similar poems. Students understand the literary devices used by the poet. They try to write the similar poems. Are you ready for a small comprehension? Here are four questions are there. Each question has four options. You have to choose the right answer. The first one. Who is the poet of the poem? A. John Keats. B. Wordsworth. C. Shakespeare. D. John Milton. Answer. Wordsworth is the right answer. Second question. What seed the poet's spirit? A. A blanket. B. Slumber. C. A pillow. D. Hope for his beloved. Slumber is the right answer. Third question. What is the rhyming scheme of the poem? A B C D D C B A. B. B C D A A B A B. C. A B A B C D C D. D. A A B B C C D D. Right answer is C. A B A B C D C D. Fourth question. What does the slumber means in the poem? A. Birth. B. Hope. C. Spirit. D. Death. Death is the right answer. It is a home task for you. You may do it individually or you may take help from your friends. The home task is you have to collect some poems related to the present theme and analyze and compare the poems. The comparable things are name of the poems, name of the poets, rhyming scheme, figures of speech, images used, and other differences.